Hey guys, Boise here. In today's tutorial we're going to set up and show you how to use basic triggers. A trigger can be used to affect a number of things, but what I'm going to do now is set a time delay trigger for some enemy aircraft bombing an airfield. Now I'm using an enemy flight of aircraft that I set up in another video here, so if we zoom in a bit more we'll see we've got a raid of Blenheims attacking Hyde airfield. Now I'll just go into the properties of this raid so you can see what I've done to set it up. So the group properties here will show you we have 6 aircraft in the raid, so a flight of 6 here. You can have more or less as you desire. The formation, we've got them in a simple Vic formation. And the weapons set, if you click the 3 dots there, it will show you what we've selected. In this case we've got 2 500-pound bombs in the central bomb bay. We've also got here detonators default, so we've got the general purpose detonators here. You can have a delay on there, so on and so forth. On the waypoint you'll see what we've done here. So on the first waypoint, waypoint 0, they're to be at normal flight at 500 meters. The next one is also normal flight because they're still approaching the target. Again, it's the same height and the same speed. The key thing is you'll see on the second waypoint, waypoint 2, or indeed actually the third one, that you've got here, ground attack the target. Level bombing, but again this here is the same, and also as you go to the third point where they exit the target area, again normal flight, same altitude, same speed, once again the same there. Okay, so that was all set up in a previous tutorial, but just wanted to refresh what we've done there. Now what we're going to do now is create a trigger. Now you might say use them for a number of reasons, but what we're going to do is have a time delay here. So you might create a mission where you want to give, I don't know, a 5-minute delay for the defending aircraft to get up, or you might want to put a time delay so you have waves of aircraft attacking, so one wave instantly, one 10 minutes later. Whatever you want to do, you can do it. So what we do here, the first thing we need to do is tell this group of aircraft that it's going to be subject to a trigger. So as you go to the group properties at the bottom, you'll see script spawn. So you're going to tell it it's going to spawn against a script or a trigger. So rather than spawning in immediately, it's going to have to listen to what the computer wants it to do. Once you've done that, we go to edit and we select script, and you'll see here manage in-game scripts and triggers. Now you'll be presented with this window here, and you'll see you've got triggers, actions, script. Now for the purpose of this, we're only going to use the first 2 tabs here. So what you have to do is create your first trigger. Now with the name you can call it what you wish, but the important thing is the name matches the action. So you have to have it matching. You can put bomber wave, spawn 1, Blenheims. I'm just going to do 1 because it's very, very, very straightforward and will serve a purpose for this tutorial. So I've named it 1, the trigger. Now you can select here what type of trigger you want. This is going to be a time delay, as I mentioned, but you have other options. You could do group destroyed. So for example, you could have a wave of Blenheims attacking an airfield, and when they're destroyed it will trigger and spawn another wave, or even if only 50% of it's destroyed. There's quite a few options there. And the same principle with ground destroyed. If you have ground units, they get destroyed and then another wave will come in, or whatever. And pass through, you can set a point on the map that if an aircraft flies through it, it will spawn aircraft. So I don't know, hypothetically you could have flying over to England, and when your 109 passes through a certain point it will scramble Hurricanes at an airfield in England. You could do something like that. But for here we're going to do a simple time one. So we're going to select time, and we're going to select a 30-second trigger, so a 30-second delay. So what this will do, will delay the spawning in of those aircraft by 30 seconds. Okay, so we've named it, we've set the time we want, and we've put the time. This is always in seconds, by the way, so if you want to have it 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you have to do that in seconds. Okay, so actions. So we need to add an action, and as I mentioned, it must be the same as the trigger. So 1 will do the trick here, because that will match the trigger we've set. Now the type here, there's only one option, but this is going to air spawn the group of aircraft, which is exactly what we want, so we keep that as it is. Now action, we're going to tell the trigger what units are subject to this action. So we click the little button there, and we hover the cursor over the units we want it to affect, and this time the Blenheim, so press it there. And that will now say that it's selected that. Okay, so just to recap, we've got a trigger named 1. It's a time trigger, 30 seconds, a matching action name to air spawn the group, and we've selected the group, so we now press save. I'm just going to unselect that unit. Now let's do scripts again, just make sure it has saved properly. So go back to triggers, 1, TT time 30 seconds, 1, air spawn group selected. Superb. Okay, so what we do here, as I set up in the previous video, you need to have a player aircraft so you can actually load into the map and see what's going on when you're in single player or just testing it. So the properties was to have it spawn parked. It's 109 by the way. I've accidentally selected to have about 1 million of them on the airfield. Let's just change that away, so we'll keep it to 1. The waypoint action is to have it in takeoff, obviously, because it's on the ground, and to click it as a player, so that it loads you in as a player and not as an AI. Okay, let's give this a go and see what this does for us. Okay, so if this has worked properly, we should see no aircraft on our right hand side for approximately 30 seconds. And what I'll do is going to time speed up a little bit, so we're not here waiting too long for it to come in. Just keep looking over there. There they go, they're spawned in. So you should be able to see they're possibly not on the video quality, but there's 6 aircraft. I'm going to go to external view and have a look at them. And here they are. So based on that simple trigger, they weren't there, now they're there 30 seconds later. What we'll do is we'll watch them do their thing. The flag is bursting around them, which is quite cool. Now of course you could then do the same thing, set up a second wave and have it trigger, I don't know, on 100 seconds, and you in effect have a second wave coming through fairly shortly afterwards. Really, it's the same principle, it's just extending the time and making sure you set it up properly so you can see the eggs have been dropped. Let's see if they hit it this time. Oh, there we go. The explosions in the airfield, took out some of the parking bays there. Okay, so there you go, that's how you set up a delay trigger based spawn for aircraft.